Hey beautiful people, I'm back with another Love Island review. So I'm going to be reviewing last night's episode, but maybe a little bit on the night before because I didn't touch on that. But we basically saw Curtis and Maura not getting a couple. The new girl Francesca swooped in and coupled up with Curtis before Maura could, and I thought that was very brave of her because Maura is feisty and scary, but Francesca stood by her guns and she chose the guy that she wanted to choose. I'm actually kind of glad that she didn't choose Ovie because we're saving Ovie for me, darling. You know. Oh, bear with me, the noise in the background if you guys hear sounds because it is far too hot to shut my windows. But yeah, so we basically saw in last night's episode that Curtis has started cracking on with the new girl Francesca. They seem to be having some good conversations. Seems like things are going well, but he's still keeping his options open with Maura. Now there was a bit of a stir in last night's episode because Curtis chose to give Maura a back massage. Anybody else think my guy has completely forgotten about Amy? Awkward. It must be like a nightmare for her watching this go on from home, but that's what she left the villa for. She left to give Curtis a chance to find love, so let's see how that goes. But when Curtis was saying to the new girl Francesca that he will never bullshit her or lead her on, I was like, I swear to God, I almost choked on my coffee and my biscuits. I was like, really? Where was all this, you know, straight talking when you were leading Amy on and promising her the moon and the stars and delivering McDonald's, darling? Like, where was all this no bullshit then? So, I don't know. I'm side-eyeing Curtis nowadays. I'm definitely side-eyeing Maura, all this. Do you want to sneak into my bed when she falls asleep? He would look so much better with my legs wrapped around his face. This is more from the first few days of her walking into the villa when she was moving like a mad woman towards Tommy. She definitely seems to have calmed down a lot since then, but it seems like once she's competing for a guy, she goes overtly sexual, like somebody taught her that sex is the only way to a man's heart. And I feel like that's actually going to push Curtis away because Curtis, although things didn't work out with him and Amy, it seems like someone that's a bit more mellow and a bit more princess la-di-da fairy tale might be a bit more his cup of tea. I feel like Maura is a bit too wild child for the good boy Curtis act that he's got going on. So personally, I don't see those two really working out, but oh, I just realised I forgot to put any mascara on. My eyes must be looking crazy. Yeah, so for me that's a bit awkward seeing, but I did like the fact that Francesca did pull him up on their little dinner date saying, I didn't like what you did giving Maura a massage, you know, it made me feel kind of I do feel like Curtis and Francesca are probably going to be more suited, but honestly I don't think Curtis likes either of them. I'm not even sure Maura really likes Curtis. I don't really know what's going on in that triangle. None of it really seems that genuine to me. So let's move on to the people I love talking about the most, Michael, Amber. So we definitely saw that the rest of the villa is seeing what we are seeing, guys. You know, it was really good to see Tommy, Molly, Anna, you know, all sitting around, Jordan sitting around and talking about the chemistry that just doesn't really seem to be any between Joanna and Michael. They seem more like, as they said, they seem more like friends. You know, at night when everybody goes to sleep and everyone's kissing, like, I think last night we saw a peck. Usually Joanna just turns her back and she's like, get away from me. And I just don't feel like that's the kind of vibe you have with someone you're really attracted to at the start of your relationship. I'm actually starting to question whether or not the girl genuinely likes the guy or if she just thought this was her chance to stay in the villa. We also saw Ovie saying the exact same thing to Amber on their date, that basically the chemistry between Amber and Michael is just undeniable. Like, you can't miss it. Like, the way they look at each other, the way they smile at each other. And I think Ovie called it when he said that like Michael's just a bit too proud to admit that he's made a mistake. Deep down he definitely knows that, you know, it's just not the same. Not, oh, there's like the real me, you know, I can finally be myself shit. Like, Michael, we don't see you, like, you don't say anything funny, we don't, who is this myself? Like, we loved you when you were with Amber. So I'm totally confused, but it's good to see that what we're seeing, the lack of chemistry between Joanna and Michael, they're all seeing it too. And the fact that Michael and Amber were all over each other when they were together. So yeah, really interesting. And then when Joanna was saying to Michael that she can see she's been picturing their kids together, could Michael have looked any less bothered. Like, it was just like, oh really? Yeah, I don't think he's seeing a future between them two happening on the outside. And I don't even know where she's pulled that one from either, because honestly I don't think she's that into him either. It just seems like an awkward friendship. You know, they get along okay, but there's nothing like physical or romantic between them. So hopefully that ends pretty soon. Okay, Amber and Ovie coupled up, and in my last review I said that that's just all I wanted to see. If those two remain a couple, they've got such a good chance, I think, of winning the 50k. We love Ovie, we love Amber. Together it's pure perfection. And when he was saying to her last night he thinks it's a privilege, you know, that she chose him, I was so man, like Ovie, he's too cute, he's too sweet, he's sensitive as well for such a like big basketball player. He's damn near gorgeous, like wow, you know. So I do think those two I just want them to know how much of favorites they are. I want them to know how well liked they are, because I want them to just stay together. Can we like all put together some money and pay for a plane to fly over saying Ovie and Amber are winning the 50k? Let them know what's up. But in tomorrow night's episode we are going to see the strongest couples and the least favourite couples. The least favourite are at risk of being dumped from the island, but I think usually the three strongest couples are safe. So hopefully that's a good chance for them to know how much of favourites they are. I think they're favourites, so I'd be very surprised if Amber and Ovie weren't in the top 3 couples tomorrow night. And I think that's going to shock everybody, because friendship couples usually aren't safe. But I think, you know, they're probably going to realise that actually the public do have our back, which is going to be awesome. What I want to see this week is, you guys know the challenge where they have to rank themselves by what the public thinks about each couple. So when they say like line up in a row from favourite to least favourite, you know, who the public like the most, or who the public think are going to work on the outside world, or who the public think have the most physical chemistry, or who the public thinks are the funniest. I think they need to do that so they realise just how, you know, well liked the public think they are, because at the moment they're probably going to be nervous that they're going home because they're in a friendship couple. And I think that would be good as well for Joanna and Michael to see what we are seeing and like let them know that they're not going to ride that little wave that they've got going on to the 50k. If that's why they're staying together, because they think they've got a stronger chance of winning the 50k if he doesn't rock the boat and jump ship again. I'm sorry darling, that money is not going your way if you stay with Joanna. And I think the boy is clueless when he was like that, you know, that Joanna's been holding back due to respect for Amber, that's why she's not being as physical. I'm like, darling, what Confucius are you eating? Because that Joanna girl doesn't give two F's about Amber. She's rude as fuck, she's not considerate. If she's not kissing you, touching you and hugging you, darling, it's because she's just not that into you. Stop telling yourself there's little stories about Amber this, Amber that, Amber the problems you and her have in your relationship are due to you and her. Leave my girl Amber out of it. Thank you very much. Okay, who else? There wasn't too much storyline going on in last night's episode. The only last bit I'll touch on was the whole Anton giving his number to the shop clerk at the store. So I just thought it was a bit of banter. There didn't seem like there was anything, you know, malicious behind Anton's words, especially because it didn't seem like the cashier spoke English. So I did think it was a bit unfair that Tommy did end up telling Molly what happened. She promised she wouldn't tell, but literally before he'd even come back with the mains, half the girls knew what had gone on and she didn't even have to leave at the table. So it'll be interesting how that unfolds tomorrow night, how Belle takes it, but I don't think that's going to cause too much of a stir or too much of a commotion. So who I think are going to be in the least favourite couples tonight, I would probably say Maura and Chris, but I think a lot of the public seem to really like Maura, so she'll probably be safe. I think there's a good chance that Joanna and Michael will be in the bottom. A good chance as well that Curtis and Francesca will be in the bottom. What are the other couples in there? Yeah, those are the two that I'm more confident about. I'm not too sure about Jordan and Anna. Tommy and Molly, I'm pretty sure will be safe. Ovie and Amber, pretty sure they'll be safe too. I can't remember if there's any other couples, to be honest. But yeah, that's my review, guys. Let me know your thoughts, especially on Michael thinking that Joanna's holding back because she's worried about Amber's feelings. Has anybody else seen any of that? My girl is just not that into you, boo. I'm Amy Justin Me. Make sure you subscribe for more Love Island commentaries and reviews. And yeah, I'll catch you guys soon.